learning a new language may be easier than you think thanks to a new device that looks like a pair of earbuds. It sends electrical pulses to the brain, and researchers say it's working. CTV science and technology specialist Dan Riskin joins me now. Dan, it sounds too good to be true. Zapping the brain and automatically you learn a language. How's this actually working?
Well, it's pretty cool. So it looks like earbuds. You put this thing on, and while you're learning a language, you don't know it, but it's zapping your head. And it doesn't actually zap your brain. It zaps your vagus nerve. So this is called transcutaneous vagus nerve stimulation. And the vagus nerve has been, it's a nerve that runs close to the ears. It's been zapped to try to treat epilepsy for a long time. But researchers have found that other sort of emergent properties happen. When you zap that nerve, people tend to do a little better at certain tasks. So they thought, why not try this while somebody's learning a language? We'll zap their head. You don't feel it, so they won't even know whether it's happening or not. They won't know if they have the right earbuds or if they have a control earbud. And then we'll see how they learn the language.
Now, how did researchers test these devices?
Yeah, so what they did is they got 36 people that speak English but don't speak Mandarin Chinese, and they got those people to try to learn Mandarin Chinese. And the thing that makes Mandarin Chinese difficult for most English speakers is that there are tones that make a word that sounds the same to us. It actually has a totally different meaning depending on the tone, and distinguishing those tones is very difficult for English speakers who aren't used to Mandarin Chinese. So people were working on learning these 4 tones, listening to people speaking in Mandarin, but what they didn't know is that some of the people, when 2 of the tones were played, they got a little zap in their ear, and they couldn't even feel it. They didn't know, but it was zapping the brain. And those people that got zaps, compared to the people that did not get zaps, were 13% better at distinguishing those tones. And not only that, they peaked in their performance more than twice as fast. And so this really did make a measurable difference in how quickly they were able to pick up on that new language.
Okay, so that very interesting stuff for potential, but in terms of practical use, could we one day be wearing a pair of these when we travel, or could it go at the next step and just zap our brain and boom, we know Mandarin?
Well, we're not there yet, although I wish we were, because that would be much easier than learning a new language. Although you could say that once this pandemic's over, the opportunity to travel is kind of half the reason to learn new languages. But what they're saying is that this is something to give people a boost. A lot of people, when they want to learn a new language, they get stuck at the beginning and they just never go forward. Once person sort of made it over the hump, they tend to do better. So they're saying, maybe if 13% would be a big enough difference, or that doubling in speed early on would make a big enough difference that somebody would get over that hump, and then they'd stick with it. So maybe they only wear the earbuds in the beginning when they're learning a language. But the fact that this just a zapping of the brain had an effect on this one particular task is no reason to think it's the only task it would work for. So maybe if you're trying to work on math, or maybe if you're trying to learn how to, present on a TV show, having something zap your head might make you better at it. So maybe there's more to this than meets the ear.
Dan, if I could have zapped my brain to get better at math years ago, I would have done it. I couldn't do it, and that's why I do what I do now. Thank you very much for joining me today, Dan.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.